invest their money in farm to try to cultivate food products that will help our country. Investors who have now started planting rice, what are you going to tell them? How are they going to meet with the competition of people bringing rice from Thailand at 46,000 naira?
We have had this conversation before, but let's bring it up since you brought it up. Now, the removal of fuel subsidy and these economic policies of the president, of course, you've been very critical of the economic policies of the president.
It's very bad.
Now, after that was done, of course, it was expected that the price of food was going to go up. We needed to come to some kind of level. And that is what the presidency explained. Hold on, High Chief. He says that when we now balance out, then we can now start to adjust. And according to the presidency, that is what is happening now. Those extremely high prices are coming down. You're not buying this conversation at all. You're not buying it.
The president came into office without a plan. That's a fact. Let me explain to you. Because you can't be making policy statement, irrationally, impromptu, in an impromptu status, and then you come back, you reverse it. When the president said he was going to cultivate 500,000 hectares of land for farming, he hasn't done that. There's no 1 hectare cultivated for farming, either cassava or rice, in anywhere. Then you come back to the issue of fuel subsidy. Go and ask anywhere in the world. You must have a policy. Yes, good. But you must also have a plan on how to cushion the effect of that policy. The president never had that. On May 29, 2023, Nigeria was thrown into poverty when the president, without any plan, without any policy direction, removed fuel subsidy. That same day, fuel jumped from 195 per liter to close to 1,000. You're looking at, because the cost of transportation affects everything within this country. The cost of service, the cost of goods and services are affected by cost of transportation, because the cost of transportation increased, ballooned to 300% the day the president made that pronouncement. So the suffering of the people also became a major issue. So if the president had a plan, or he had looked at policy direction properly, the president know what to do. He would have put in check measures that would have helped to reduce the impact of that policy on the Nigerian people.
What kind of measures do you think because that's something we've been hearing everyone talk about. When you remove subsidies, if you're looking at, well, they say they're not moving towards a free market, right? They're not doing that. But it does feel like it's going in that direction when you take away all of these subsidies. They said there are some subsidies still in place. Now, in your view, when you take away subsidies and then you're hit hard as a people with the impact of that, what should the president have done in these 2 years to cushion the impact in your view?
What the president would have done was to say, okay, look, there's a corruption in this subsidy regime. Except the president does not have the courage to deal with that corruption. And that's the way he was looking for a short call. And then put the pain and the suffering on the Nigerian people directly. What they would have done, I'm into office May 29. I have 4-year term. In the next 6 months, I have to look at the corruption within the subsidy regime. And while looking at that, I need to make provisions for resources to be able to, get buses, make up transport, vehicles available. So that whenever you remove this, you will now have an independent transport company that will be able to cushion the effect of the
free transportation for the Nigerian people.
Yes, not even free. At a cost that will not even eat up the entire 70,000 minimum wage. A subsidized cost of transportation. That is a one way. And then open up the 500,000 hectares of land and provide job for the people. So in that process, look, agriculture has the shortest gestation period. You can even plant rice like 4 times in a year, and you can plant cassava. So if you have gone to, like he promised Agbado, and he promised Nigeria Agbado, and if you have done that, you will see that a lot of people would have had, food on their table. The cost of living would have reduced, not the level of the cost of living people have today. A lot of people who earn 100,000, 70,000 can no longer take care of their family. You know why? Because even working and you earn 100,000 and you stay in Suleja, coming to Wuse 2, your money is finished. So that is the problem we're having. There was no plan. There was policy, but there wasn't a plan to pushing the negative effect of that policy.
I want to be able to talk to you about one of the major questions Nigerians have had about the TINiBU administration in the past 2 years. The removal of subsidy. Everyone agreed before the elections that this was going to be done. But when it was removed, the question now became, where did the money go? Because from opposition, we've heard it in whispers from time to time. Oh, where has the subsidy money gone? Because we're supposed to see it working in other sectors. What do you think has happened in this situation?
It doesn't. The amount of allocation.
Did it disappear?
Both the state and federal share has actually increased.
So allocations increased.
Increased, okay. But we don't know what they're doing with it. For me, I've made a statement because I can say I know what they're doing with it. I can say that I see that they are building up luxury for themselves because you can't be buying in austerity period. You can't be buying comfort for the president and those who live around the president. You can't be, for the 2 budgets we have had kitchen utensils of the presidency changed twice. We have had vehicles being bought for National Assembly and those in the presidency. We have had issues of the yacht being bought. We have had issue of spending 150 billion of our money in a private jet for the president. I think there's no prioritization. They are not prioritizing the expenditure that will actually help the poor people, help the masses, help the Nigerian people to live a comfortable life. Because you can't provide job in a situation where you are not even the country is not productive. You talk about electricity. What is the investment with the electricity? They are only trying to charge more, get more tariff on electricity that they can't even, be able to get more to more people. In band A, band C, they don't have light. So band C, band B, they don't have light. So you need to have a government that is very well interested in investing for the future, investing for the life of the common man, and putting money where it should be, and not that this traveling all over the world looking for pity. When the people know the country is rich and our resources are being wasted, yes, our resources will be wasted. You can look how many times the president have traveled, since he became president. So you need to have a data and look at the corruption perception index have not reduced. We have 146 over 180 in corruption perception index. We have 161 over 189 in human developmental index. So we need to, with the data that is there in the public, the president hasn't done anything. Our farmlands are not safe. Our highways are not safe. There's no proper blueprint to see how do we get security to our farmland. How do we get, what is happening in Plateau, what is happening in Taraba, what is happening in Benue. The president has not shown empathy. Or to be sensitive to the issues of the plight of our people there. He has never visited. The only time he went to Katsina was for a wedding. Despite people died a week before. So we need to have somebody who is connecting with the people. Because the president is here to govern and make life easier for the people, using our public resources, collective resources, to better the lot of our people. So if we have a situation where that is not happening, then we must speak up. This is not the interest of, what are we gaining? The only thing we gain is that those are the corridor of power. Have developed an habit, to silently walk around the president by not telling the truth. But those of us who are Nigerians, who are living this pain, not collecting salary from government, those who don't get paid by government, those who don't live the luxurious lifestyle provided by government, are actually the one being affected by the policy somersault and misguided policy direction of this administration. And there's need for us to speak with the president, whatever medium we can use, to be able to realign his thoughts towards actually investing properly. Look at the capital expenditure of the budget last year. It performed just 25%. And recurrent was performing close to 99%. So we have a challenge with our budgeting system. We have a challenge because we do not have people who have competent enough, who have capacity to do line by line check of the budget. As soon as they bring you, you had your own, we had our own, let it pass, let everybody be happy. That's the problem we have.
We said we were going to look at the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens. We've seen the lows. Were there any in-betweens or highs in the last 2 years in the TINiBU administration, in your view?
I don't. Where are the in-betweens?
Was there any in your view? Was there anything good that happened in the past 2 years?
There was an attempt to do something good, maybe to try to say they are going to give loan to students. But the loan is not getting to a lot of people.
So the loan scheme was a good idea.
It was a good idea, but what we need to do, we need to follow the constitution. The president needs to look back and say, why are we giving loan to Nigerian students? Look at Donald Trump. He has said that they're giving $9,000 to people who want to go for vocational education. So why not go back to the days where Wole Soyinka and co were in school, where you have free education, where you have free meal being given out to students in federal universities? What's the big deal about that?
What about local government autonomy?
Local government autonomy, the president has played politics with it.
How so?
Of course, what happened in Rivers. What happened in Rivers has shown that there's politics attached. Because Section 103, as much as you cannot remove an elected state house of assembly, you can't remove an elected executive governor, and you have done that. And the local government, as I speak, since the Supreme Court judgment was given, you know what they have? It's not local government autonomy per se. The judgment they got for Supreme Court is financial autonomy for local government, so that local government can get their money direct charge from CBN to the account of the local government. We still have a problem with how the elections is being conducted by State Independent Electoral Commission. So, but the president have not fulfilled his promise because they are doing quick probe with the governors. Because since when the judgment came, there is no payment from CBN or anywhere to the local government authorities in their areas. So we need to have, when you pursue an agenda, it shouldn't be done for funfair. It shouldn't be done so that politicians will see that you want to make an attempt. Because the lives of the people matter. Local government is at the root of and the foundation for the development of our communities. And if we cannot get that right, it will be difficult to get the entire governance system right. The president it should be worried. Because if you are in government, and sincerely, and I know Nigerians for that, and you are performing, you don't have to do aid, you don't have to do adverts. You can see what happens in Abia. You don't have to do any campaign of any sort. Nigerians will applaud you. But as I speak to you today, the level of poverty that more than 130 million Nigerians have been pushed into multidimensional poverty, which represents about 156% of our population. So we need to be able to agree that there's a problem. How do we channel these resources in an appropriate manner? People talk about, oh, why are you talking about East Calabar Coastal Rail Line road? 700 kilometers of road. They've done 30 kilometers in 2 years. If you calculate it, two years, 30 kilometers, that means we are going to take to the 3.5 years to complete the 700 kilometers. So we have over 46,000 federal roads that are left undone. From here to Lokoja, you can't move. From 65 kilometers from Enugu to Oka, you can't move. So the government need to sit down, get all this road working, connect it, and the way to build up society is not really basically about road alone. It's about what are you putting in place for localization of industry, because our people can't get jobs. The level of unemployment today, and the worst one is the underemployment, because when you are employed and you are paid less than what you should earn in the society, you are underemployed.
I mean, the figures really from the World Bank are very damning. 75.5% of rural dwellers below,
and 41.5% in urban areas
in our country. How is the president missing the point?
I think he's missing the point because he's running an elitist, governance system whereby he doesn't relate to the people, he doesn't connect with the people. There's no where's the media? The FCT means that we even have more media presence than him. So he should be able to have a medium by which he communicates with Nigerian people, probably get a feedback directly. Because, people around him.
Oh, he's had media chats, hasn't he?
The media chat are controlled. This NTA thing, and you come around and people try to pass it around. We need to have a proper interaction, even if the president have to go from town hall to town hall. Except we don't have the president we have a president that don't have that kind of energy, which is what Nigerians think. Because if you are a president of a country that needs development, that needs urgent, very emergency treatment so that it can come back to life, you need to be able to do what needs to be done in an extra manner, because you can't just sit and expect you just sign document and it becomes successful through non-implementation, because some of this policy, none of them have seen the light of day. Because if we have the kind of land we have, and the president had promised that's going to till 500,000 hectares of land, imagine if you had done that. Imagine the kind of jobs our agricultural extension students we have. Imagine the chain, the multiple effect, the spiral effect that you have on our economy. So you can't be talking about Lincoln and people are comparing you to somebody who changed the entire country and made it a first-class country. Then you are not doing the same thing.
Let's talk about security. Under the TINiBU administration in the past 2 years.
Yeah, security.
I saw some things that you wrote about it, and in your mind, there has been no plans from the government for security. But we did hear last night, the Air Force, they are actually calling what happened last night one of the biggest moves when it comes to the war against Boko Haram, killing scores of terrorists yesterday night. But one of the issues that we've heard many people talk about, and I've heard you talk about it as well, is the fact that kinetic measures are being done. What happens to be non-kinetic? And when we're talking about non-kinetic, we're talking not just about poverty alleviation and not creating fodder for terrorist organizations to recruit more people. We're also taking a look at the corruption and the economy that we have seen around terrorism in Nigeria. How can President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in the next 2 years, fix that? Is it possible?
He just needs to step up his game and be the commander-in-chief and fire those who are not delivering on the mandate.
Fire the service chiefs.
Of course, if they're not delivering on their mandate, well, look at the statistics. It's embarrassing. We're not in a state of war. We should say we're in a state of war as we speak today. Over 10,000 Nigerians in the last 2 years or so have died. 10,000. It's not small. Over 620 villages has been ransacked. These are figures by Amnesty International. These are figures that you can relate with, that you can see on the daily newspaper every day. Are we in a state of war? So you need to have a proactive measure, not these reactionary measures that they're applying. You know, they just see something happen. Bandits have sacked our military base before, recently, in the last 2-3 weeks. So you cannot have these reactionary measures and you want us to applaud you that you are doing something. What about the communities that are being wiped out in Benue? Like I said,
you belong to a political party.
Yes, I belong to a political party.
The Labour Party.
It's obvious. Everybody knows that.
So if the Labour Party was in power, can they even get the power? Because the issue that we're looking at with the Labour Party is that we're still wondering what's going on with the opposition in this country, whether it's the PDP or the Labour Party. Your party. Now, it's very easy from the outside to take a look at government and say, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. But how is your party getting itself together to take over this government if that is what they say they want to do? And how are you going to do that if you haven't gotten your house together?
We're the only party in Nigeria that knows we have a problem and trying to solve it. And it's obvious, you see our leaders act in that direction. People are focusing on opposition when they should be focusing on government. As we speak to you, which NEC brought the Ganduje to national chairman? When last did they hold any NEC or convention? The North Central, whose that slot of national chairman belongs to, have been alienated from the APC. They're complaining. So people are looking at the opposition, they're not organized. Like I will always say, no matter how disorganized the opposition is, it's not their fault that Nigeria is in the very bad state. And nobody should shift that blame on them. And you can see that the opposition is even more, does not have any blame. All of us are
organized opposition gives Nigerians the option.
We are well
because
organized.
What people are saying now is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu might win the next election.
He's not going to win it.
How do you know that? When your party needs to get itself together, we don't know who the national chairman of your party is. We hear about a coalition going on. We do not know who the flag bearer of your party is going to be. How is the Labour Party going to get together?
I've been in party management. I've had my highs and have my lows.
Yes.
And I can tell you that you cannot have a party is about self-succession. It's perpetual succession. Even if 200 million people are in the party today and 190-something million resign from the party, the remaining ones will go along. It doesn't matter. You have a situation where INEC had gone to court, signed an affidavit and say the tenure of Abure is over. You have a situation where INEC had written a letter to the public and say they never monitor Inewi Convention. That is Bible. And you have a situation where the Supreme Court have made a judgment. And then elected persons who are elected on the platform of Labour Party, who are substantive, who are statutory delegate to the National Convention. INEC is the one delaying the decision. Whatever decision they want to take, Nigerians will judge them. It will be in public domain. They have independent attached to their name. It is now for them to show the public what they want to do. So I have always maintained that the opposition is ready. And you can see, look, it's the message to the people. Look at what Labour Party did through Peter Obi. Even for Peter Obi, that his message resonated with people. Because, like I said to you, what Peter Obi will bring to the table from the opposition is what the current president does not have. The ability to go through the budget, the ability to prioritize the necessary budgetary measures that will affect
if he contests under the Labour Party,
the positive life of the people.
If he contests under the